Hi, and you're now with the Forerunner Chronicles, and right now we have Phil the Player with us. Phil the Player is a member of the 69 Boys. He's sold over 35 million units worldwide, right?
Oh yeah.
And he's been nominated for a Grammy, and he's written on soundtracks for multiple movies like Bad Boys, Space Jam, Dr. Dolittle, Nothing to Lose, Dangerous Minds, Sunset Park. He's got some other plaques around this house with other movies that he's written for. It's like a plethora. So he's been real busy. And he's probably the highest selling artist out of Florida. Am I right?
Yeah. Well, T-Pain giving me a good run for it, as well as if you T-Pain or Luke, but I'm somewhere up in there.
My brother here has consented to do an interview with us to really talk about different ills within the entertainment industry. You know, he's moved in the circles with people like Rick Ross, Piles, T-Pain, instrumental in helping to bring a lot of these guys up in the business, and I guess we're going to be talking a little bit about that in this interview. But I just want to kind of jump straight into it, if you don't mind, all right?
Yeah, let's do it.
As you know, in the videos that I've been putting up, it's really dealing with how there's a satanic element within the music industry. You know, some of these artists are actually directly connected to secret societies, if not being utilized as tools or pawns, if you will,
right, in
this game to lead the masses in a direction that's destructive.
Right.
Now, being an individual that's been very successful in the music industry, let's just take it back to kind of like the beginning of your music career, right?
All right.
And just talk about what was your personal upbringing and how did your entrance into the music industry have an effect upon your morals and ideologies?
Well, first of all, one of the things that I didn't realize is the deep spiritual connection when you talk about music, whether you're talking about soul music, or you're talking about rap music, or you're talking about R&B, or you're talking about gospel music. Coming in as a rookie, I didn't realize, how deep music and just the soul is connected, and that's why they call it soul music.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So that being said, me coming into the game, being a Christian, I came in saying, okay, God, if I come in the game, I'm from Florida, but I want to be like the Will Smith of Florida. I want to be able to make clean music like Tootsie Roll that just make people want to dance and have a good time. That was what I said my sacrifice was, because my thing was I just wanted to make money, whether it was shoveling snow or selling shoes or making music. Wherever I can make the most money at,
right,
that's where I wanted to be. So me getting into it then, as a Christian, I said I wanted to make clean music, but it was like walking into a club full of strippers saying that I was going to change them. No, I wasn't going to change them. I was going to get changed, and that's what happened to me. I got changed, and before you know it, I'm out there in a life of sex, drugs, and rap and roll, where I had sex with over 700 women and over 400 of them unprotected.
Wow.
Just playing roulette with my life.
Right.
But I'm just wide open. So I feel these rappers, as they out here today.
You were one of the most prominent radio personalities out here in Florida at a point in time, and you were very instrumental in helping individuals like Rick Ross, Piles, T-Pain, all of these guys to reach the level of success that they're now enjoying in the industry. Since you knew them then and what you see them doing now, have you seen a shift in the morals of these individuals? Is there a point in time within the industry to reach a certain level of success that you come to a point where you're either presented by the executives to push the card further than you may have wanted to push it initially coming into the industry? What do you have to say on what I'm talking about here?
Yeah, man, I believe that no matter who the artist is, including myself, you cannot get wealth, fame, notoriety, and not change. So to answer your question, I watched all these artists change. I watched them make promises and not live up to the promises to the people that helped push them to become who they are, and then act as if they have no regret. However, I can't speak and say that you've got people saying sell your soul. But I will say that the messages, the images being put out are obvious.
Right.
People can ignore it. It don't make it not true. There are going to be repercussions to the things that we're doing as a nation. We can ignore it. that don't mean it's not true. It's gonna happen.
So Thrill, from what I'm seeing, it seems as though that the artists in the industry right now, they're making merchandise out of Christ. They're making merchandise out of the truth that they might have even been raised up knowing, you know. In my videos, I've talked about the satanic element that's within the industry.
Yeah.
The obvious presence of secret societies, the influence of these different organizations on the music industry, and using the artists, using them as a means by which they can help to push out into society a specific type of mentality that's conducive to bringing about the reality that they are working for. Why do you think these guys have all of a sudden really began to devote so much of their lyrics and their videos to promoting imagery of these satanic organizations and actually speaking of the belief systems of these satanic organizations? Why all of a sudden has this become such a staple within the industry?
I believe that it's been preached so long that God forgives and God loves, that, like we talked about before, people think some of the things that they do, they can always just go and repent for. And in most cases, that's true. However, when you speak on Freemasons, now, I hate to speak on things that I'm not totally knowledgeable about. Mm-hmm. So Freemasons, I can't speak on that. I'm not knowledgeable about that. But what I will say, whether we talking Kanye, Jay-Z, Rick Ross, or anybody that's upper echelon in this game right now, you don't see any of them holding any rituals to say, look, I'm not this.
Right.
You can go back to the Bible. The beginning of time, Lucifer, he was over the music. He was kicked out because he wanted to deceive himself into believing that he could get everyone to raise praise to him in somebody else's kingdom. He left there deceiving people. The first thing he did when he left was went and deceived Eve and made her, through deception, believe she was missing out on something. And she took from the tree. And ever since then, he's been deceiving people. But he lives in deception from the beginning, hating on God. So hating been around since the beginning of time. And also deception. Just like he deceived me into believing that I got a message, which everything might not be wrong, because people have to realize in deception, it's got to be some right to hide the wrong.
Right.
That's why it's called deception.
That's right.
And that's where Christians begin to wash their conscience, in that area of deception. But that don't change the bottom line. God is off limits. In the blasphemous way, hip-hop is earning revenue and pimping. And if I got to be the only person speaking up on it, a person of credibility that could say, you can't say I'm hating on you because I outsold all of you. Shouts out to Pain. I see you. But where it's coming from? It's coming from a genuine place. Because I ain't got to speak on careers that I helped build, but I ain't perfect. But I ain't going to use God the way they doing it, and I ain't going to sit by and let nobody else do it. Because for all they know, I could be saving their career. Not from their fans' judgment or their label judgment, but from God's judgment.
What effect do you think that the music is having on the minds of the young people right now?
Oh man, all you got to do is click on World Star, click on YouTube, click on any of these popular blog sites. You'll see what the music is doing to the kids. You'll see what it's doing to the people. Program directors at major radio stations, they're at fault too. And I say this at the risk of them never supporting another one of my records. It's almost like Sodom and Gomorrah. We're going back to that. Because it's just total lawlessness, total disregard of, and total misappropriation. I hear on the TV when they talk about the government, total misappropriation of funds, but it's a total misappropriation of talent and gifts
Wow. That's a way to say it too, and it's a reality. You know, you can see it's true that, you know, these individuals, whether it be a Jay-Z or a Rick Ross or a Kanye, you know, there's no sidestepping the reality that these people have been given gifts and talents, abilities, not only for their own personal good, but things that can be used to be of a great asset to society. But their drive for money and power enables them to be used as tools by the devil to tear people down and to tear down society as a whole. Basically what I'm saying is, the good that they could have done with these talents and gifts that God gave them for that purpose, they've rendered now to the service of the devil, and he's using those gifts to do the very opposite of that which God wanted to use them for. And that's for the destruction of the image of God rather than the building up of the image of God.
And a lot of times people don't know. Well, when I say they don't know, I refuse to believe that you can become a millionaire and not know simple things.
Right.
I mean, you can hold Jay foot to the fire on this. And Jay-Z, shouts out to him. I'm one of the only Southern rappers to ever appear in a Jay-Z video. Flew me out for the video and the whole thing. Mm-hmm. But I say that to say this right here. When I say it in love to all my homeboys, because all of them got to be able to hear it. If ain't nobody close to you going to tell you, I'm going to tell you.